Hello people, I'm Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
We're looking at Call My Agent, Bollywood. Official trailer with Aahana, Kumra, Ayush, Mehra, and Rajat Kapoor, as well as Moosa Raza.
I'm very, very excited to see this trailer. Not because I have actually seen the original, which I haven't, but because the original French series, 10%, is my dad's favorite Netflix show, and he's been banging on at me, going, ACHARA, watch the show. It's so funny. You'll love it. But I'll probably end up watching the Bollywood version sooner than I will the French edition.
Okay.
Do you know the premise of this?
Not at all. Let's watch it.
Okay, let's do it.
If you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. All right, let's jump into this.
Mr. Soumyajit Dasgupta अब नहीं रहे.
इन्होंने कई एक्टरों को खड़ा किया.
He was really cool dude. Soumya always looked over us.
बहुत याद आएगा.
We also had the same dentist.
Actually, मुझे लगा था कि सौम्य जी 2 साल पहले ही मर चुके हैं.
Okay.
यहाँ हर एजेंट के पास कई एक्टर्स हैं. कुछ सुपरस्टार्स, कुछ न्यूकमर्स, कुछ हैज़-बीन्स. It's a mixed bag.
There is a very interesting and exciting project in art. Farah Khan wants you for her next.
जैकी सर कुत्ते के साथ शूट नहीं करेंगे.
Bollywood में काम कर चुका हूँ.
कांस गए हो क्या?
Dia is too old for the part.
ना उस स्क्रिप्ट पे सब कुछ डिपेंड करता है. बिना स्क्रिप्ट के ना तो मूवी है, ना पैसा है, ना एक्टर्स हैं, ना एक्टर्स के एजेंट्स हैं, ना एजेंट्स के असिस्टेंट्स हैं, और ना ही तुम.
Soumya's clients are companies 30% turnover.
और अगर एक भी छोड़ के चला गया ना तो ये बात फैल जाएगी और सारे के सारे किसी दूसरी एजेंसी के पास.
Uh-oh.
Corporate audit report का क्या हुआ?
I clearly remember मैंने कंपनी के envelope में उसे डाला था और
This guy was our man. He's been saving companies' financial ass for many years. और अब वो नहीं आएगा, कोई और आएगा. All thanks to him.
Soumya के बिना this is like a circus without a ringmaster. आपको पता है हम एजेंट्स का क्या काम होता है? We create marriages, creative marriages.
हमारी इंडस्ट्री में ना लोगों की ईगो बहुत बड़ी होती है. मेमोरी थोड़ी छोटी होती है.
It's not going to think of you as a sexy terrorist. Look at you as Mother India.
These Hollywood people also ना trope तो Bollywood का use करते हैं ना. हीरो 55 का, हीरोइन 55 की चाहिए.
करिए चला क्या?
Yeah.
मोहतरमा के नखरे नहीं गए.
You lost Lilith because तू अपना दिमागी संतुलन खो चुकी है.
You guys are my actors, are my family यार.
मुझे इस एजेंसी का और इस एजेंसी में अपना कोई फ्यूचर दिखाने देता.
Oh shit.
Watch a film for the love of cinema.
Wow, that's dramatic.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Honestly, I was just like, holy crap. There's so much going on in this trailer. And I mean, I think the premise itself is super interesting because the whole world of agencies is something that we're not usually very privy to. And from what I understand, especially at the agencies that are, you know, the top 10 agencies, it is just kind of crazy. The level of pressure people are under, the agents, their assistants, the drama, the deals going on. It's hardcore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that?
The only experience I have with agencies is over here, and I have that on 2 fronts. That is the acting side and the YouTube side. I don't think I've ever met someone in this town who was like, oh my God, my agent is the best agent. Except for maybe one person, but that no longer is a relationship that exists because that agent quit. Pandemic hit. And so I don't know anyone who currently has a relationship with their agent that they love. I've heard of people who have a relationship with their manager that they love.
Yeah.
Managers are all the rage in Los Angeles, but as far as agents go, it's like, oh yeah, they don't ever send me out enough. They don't send me, and I'm talking to people who work. They don't send me out enough. I'm like, all right, well, at least you're getting out.
But I mean, actors are a funny bunch because I feel like actors are never happy. You could have landed like a really great job and you're already thinking about the next one, or you're already going, oh, my agent didn't get me the job that I wanted. Like, oh, poor me, poor me.
Well, that's the position of an actor in general. If you're not an actor / something else, you're never in control of your career. You're
Sure.
constantly at the behest of someone else. That's just your life. And that's why I love YouTube, is because you sort of take back the reins, you take back the power of your own path. And like everything has its drawbacks, everything has its double-edged sword, everything has its negatives. At least you have some degree of at least artificial power with YouTube, even if it is artificial. I had no control over India deciding that they love Jaby KOAY. I have no control over that. That just happened to work out.
Right.
You know, and so I happened to be there before most everyone else, and so I'm in this cool position. And I thank my lucky freaking stars. I thank God for my blessings. But like, I had no say-so over that, really. Luck is a weird thing. I try not to use that word ever, and I've used it twice in this conversation already. They say it's just preparation meeting opportunity.
Exactly.
I was prepared when India came my way. It's that simple. I was like, okay, cool, this is what I wanted. We're doing this. Let's go. You know, but with agents, back to that, I don't know, like my agent's pretty cool. I can talk to him, but actors are such a disposable commodity in this town and in any town where there are actors. I went to a callback this morning for a commercial. After I was done, I'm like, I got all dressed up for this. I got myself all prepared. I spent the gas and the time to come here when I could have been doing other things. Just to be disposable. Even if I booked the job, I'm disposable at the end of the day. They didn't compensate me for my time. I'm disposable. And everybody who walks into that room is disposable until they're booked. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it feels like this is celebrating agents. It's showing you the drama.
It's showing you the drama because it is, especially in that world where it's like super high stakes and they're dealing with megastars. But also, I mean, it's like they said at the top of the trailer, right? Like on a roster, you'll have the megastars, you'll have like the regular ones and the ones who are the fading stars.
Right, but to that notion, it's like, what is the agent actually doing to engineer that? Because I remember when I was with a certain agency that I will not name, I was with them for like a year. And at a certain point I was like, okay, well, I'm not getting out, I should move on. So I said, I'm moving on to another agency that has taken me. And they're like, oh, what? And then they suddenly tried to figure it out and they're like, oh, well, your headshots need to be updated. And they started giving me all this advice. I'm like, I could have used this about 8 months ago. Where was all this data that I needed back then to make myself a more presentable, more marketable actor?
It is pretty cutthroat. It's an interesting predicament in this story because the lead agent, I think, died, right?
Yeah.
And with him, they have the roster of the, you know, the mega talent, and that talent is carrying the agency. If they can't get their shit together and prove that, you know, just because the lead agent died or the owner of the company or whatever, if they can't prove that they can still do it, then all of the actors are going to jump ship and join other agencies, and then they're going to be screwed.
There's a small pessimistic part of me that's like, I hope it all falls apart.
Well, I think, you know, as people who have been on the other side where we are actors, there is a certain level of almost disdain sometimes.
Yes, there is,
towards
exactly.
agents, because it's like, what are you really doing for me? Are you really doing anything? Because I know a lot of the time actors will go out there and find their own work, but then they have to pay their agent or their manager anyway.
That's what happened to me. Working in commercial casting is how I got half of my commercials for the longest time until I did YouTube.
Well,
it's so frustrating. You can't have a personal relationship like you can with a manager, and I think that's why the manager works.
One thing to note, in America, we do have a difference between a manager and an agent, but in other markets that I have worked, your manager and your agent are one and the same.
That's dangerous. I mean, I guess it's better. I don't know. I have no idea how that shit works over there. That's why I was saying I know what it is for over here. Here's a fun experience. So I was with a management. I was just like on the back burner all the time and not knowing what the hell's going on. You go from one agency, one management to the next, and you're like, is it me? Am I the problem? Because I'm doing whatever they tell me to do. What happens is one day, my manager, she's like out because she's having a baby. And so I get pushed to her superior manager who's controlling the management.
Yeah.
She puts me on a McDonald's Union commercial, which I fucking book. That is paying my bills. Like, I'm going to my mailbox and getting dope ass checks for that McDonald's commercial that was 3 hours of work. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why don't I just work with this manager? And then my manager came back into, because she was back from her maternity leave. And I'm like, okay, well, we're back to the same shit again. So I went straight to the head manager. I was like, can you take me on directly? Because I finally booked while I was with you and I'd like to work. And she's like, okay. The very next day, they let me go for trying to be ambitious, for trying to like take initiative and do something with my career because I stepped out of line.
Wow.
And so what I realized is they have their tiers.
Yeah, they do.
And so
they do. I mean, even in this trailer, bringing it back to the trailer,
yeah,
they have their tiers. Like, we're seeing the younger people working, like Ayush, Mehra, and there were like some other younger characters as well. And I feel like those are the guys who are hungry. Like, in some regards, I'd almost rather go with a younger manager or a younger agent who's hungry and trying to get further in the business than to go with some old guy who's like, what? I already have my 10 actors who work all the time. Like, I don't need to put as much effort into you who are like young and new, or you haven't got as much credits. And like,
You want to hear something shitty?
What?
That's not just on that side, it's also on the casting side, at least for commercials. The top dog commercial agents, commercial casting studios, they have their A-list of people they always go back to, and that's why you see the same faces on TV all the time. And it's just
It is what it is. It's a game. It's hard. It's hard out there for a pimp. You gotta do what you gotta do.
How dare you?
What?
You don't,
I stole
you've
it?
never even seen the movie.
Nope.
And you're using that phrase. How dare you? It's just like voiceovers or anything else. It's like this top 1% is the one that keeps working, and everyone else is like, oh, you know that scene in Mad Max when the villain like opens up the water thing and everyone's with their like toilet bowl and metal bowls and whatever, just trying to get a little bit of water, and then he pulls it shut after a couple of seconds, and he's like, don't crave water, it'll only make you resentful. I'm like, oh, it makes me so. That is what it's like in any industry like this, whether it's acting or voiceovers or music or whatever. You're just looking for the scrap.
I feel like this was very triggering.
Yeah, that's why I was quiet for a minute. And so I just did it. Okay, because it's difficult for me to like not let all of this out.
Because you're like, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like, let's set aside.
That is why I love YouTube though.
Okay, I get it.
Because YouTube is the one place where you actually have some control and can be like, okay, well, at least I can show myself. You know, it's like now the limitation is myself as opposed to some other person who doesn't get me.
Well, let's set aside all of our personal grievances with our agents.
Let's not.
What did you think about the trailer?
It didn't pull me in as much as I wanted, honestly.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, I like the talent involved in this.
Yeah, the talent involved in this is, you know, really interesting. I remember we talked to Ayush Mehra about this a while ago when we had him on our live stream channel for an interview, and he was talking about working on a Netflix project, which was this one. So, you know, it's exciting to see people that we know from the YouTube world, the web series world, in, I guess, technically another web series, although like Netflix is like an elevated platform now.
A long time ago, I was in a media arts class.
Yeah.
And American Beauty had like won Best Picture or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy goes, this guest speaker comes in and he goes, okay, so American Beauty made X amount of dollars in America. It's called American Beauty. Do you think it performed better in the States or do you think it performed better internationally? Go.
Internationally.
Why?
Because people are obsessed with America?
He said internationally because people like to see Americans tear each other apart.
Oh,
and
shit.
so I feel like that would be the only draw here for me is like, I want to see this fall apart the way everything falls apart in American Beauty. It's a morbid curiosity than anything else.
Oh,
because
yeah.
like, I don't want to see them succeed. Like if you pitched me Wake Up Sid, I'd be like, why would I want to watch this movie? Why would I want to watch a movie about a rich brat becoming becoming successful in life? You know what I mean? And it's like when I watched the film, it actually worked. Like I got attached to the Sid character and I rooted for him. But on paper, I'm like, why should I give two shits about this guy? He's a rich, wealthy brat. Most people don't have that as a starting position in the world.
Right.
Fuck him. And so with the agents, I'm not saying that, but why am I going to celebrate these people who are like, it's just like pulling the strings on everybody's lives?
Okay.
That's why.
It almost feels like we're the wrong audience for this because you're like bringing so much of your own vitriol into this. I still think that it's an interesting premise because it does kind of show the background drama
I can
on
see,
a group of people.
I can see the appeal, okay? I
Yeah.
can see the appeal for other people.
But not for Jaby.
Not for Jaby
Because
KOAY.
Jaby's getting so triggered by this. He's like, screw you, agents. You're not getting my 10%.
Oh, you know, I'm totally gonna. So I'm gonna be on the front of the line to celebrate this thing when I get my Indian agent. But until then, no.
Honestly, this does look interesting, but I think the trailer itself just had a little bit too much going on in terms of lots and lots of dialogue and things happening and lots of drama. I was like, whoa, this is a lot in all different directions. And maybe it was because we had to read the subtitles too, that it was like a slightly overwhelming, but
No, it was just a hodgepodge of drama. That's what this was.
it just needed more of a through line maybe in the trailer.
I think that this will definitely appeal to somebody.
I think it will.
Because people have a curiosity about the industry. This is an aspect that is fundamental to the industry, and people are very curious about it. So I think they would watch it. I don't think it's going to sell out like Game of Thrones or Marvel. And I'm speaking strictly about the Indian audience, by the way. I don't think it's going to like be gangbusters or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gangbusters or doorbusters? Gangbusters, right? I forget what the saying is, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It's just, I don't think it's going to be explosive the way that other stuff is. I do think that there's definitely an audience for this that will enjoy it. For me, it was just a hodgepodge of everyone going through some bullshit, kind of like American Beauty. That's why I brought that up.
I liked American Beauty.
Okay, well, hopefully there's a plastic bag scene in here. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.